Let's start with something quietly corrosive. Surveys show that nearly 70% of employees believe nepotism is common at work. Around 4 in 10 say they've worked in organizations where relatives were employed together, and almost half believe they've lost an opportunity to someone with personal connections. Yet, only a small minority of organizations have clear, enforced safeguards against nepotism. So if you've ever watched a role, promotion, or high-visibility project get decided before it was openly discussed, and felt your motivations subtly drop, that reaction isn't bitterness, it's information. The problem isn't just that nepotism exists, it's what it quietly teaches everyone else. Hi, I'm Ryan from Workday Wisdom, where everyday work problems are explained using old ideas, modern psychology, and experiments you can actually try tomorrow. At Workday Wisdom, we don't just name the problem, we explain what's happening underneath it and what you can realistically do about it. In this episode, we'll do 3 things. First, what philosophy has warned us about favoritism and insider power for centuries. Second, what psychology shows happens when effort and outcomes disconnect. And third, concrete actions that measurably reduce nepotism's damage without burning bridges. This isn't about calling people out. It's about acting wisely inside the system you're actually in. It's 9:02 a.m. You're in a meeting to decide who will lead a high-visibility initiative, the kind that turns into promotions later. 3 names were discussed last week. Yours was one of them. The manager says, "We're not opening this up broadly. We already know who's best positioned." The name is announced. It's the newest hire, 6 months in. Someone asks, carefully, what made him the right fit? There's a pause. There's already trust there. Later that day, someone says it plainly. He's the VP's cousin. No rumor, no debate. In that moment, a lot clicks into place. The skipped rotations, the stretch work that never moved, the feedback that never quite matched performance. Nothing illegal happened. But the criteria are finally clear. It wasn't performance, it wasn't readiness, it was proximity. You don't get angry, you get efficient. You stop preparing as if meetings are merit-based. You stop offering your best ideas early. You start treating the process like theater. And months later, when leadership asks, "Why does no one speak up anymore?" the answer isn't laziness, it's learning. The word nepotism doesn't come from psychology. It comes from philosophy and history. It comes from the Latin word nepos, meaning nephew. Roman thinkers like Cicero warned that republics decay not when leaders openly break laws, but when they quietly favor insiders while keeping public rituals intact. Everything looks fair, nothing is explainable. Later, Aristotle argued that justice isn't just about outcomes, it's about proportion. Power should flow according to contribution. And Confucius warned that importing family loyalty into public roles destroys moral legitimacy. So here's the metaphor. Think of fairness at work like a window, not equality, not guarantees, just visibility. Nepotism doesn't always break rules, it closes the window. Outcomes remain visible, explanations disappear, and when people can't see how power moves, they stop believing effort moves it. Psychology shows 2 reliable effects. First, procedural justice. People are far more willing to accept outcomes, even bad ones, when the process feels transparent and consistent. When criteria are visible and pre-committed, perceived fairness rises by 25 to 40%. Second, learned helplessness. When effort feels disconnected from outcomes, people don't rebel. They withdraw. They stop volunteering. They stop taking risks. They conserve energy, not because they don't care, but because caring stops making sense. That's why nepotism doesn't create loud conflict. It creates quiet disengagement. Quick pause. This matters if you manage people. Every opaque decision sends a signal. Access matters more than effort. Even when unintended, that signal teaches behavior faster than any policy ever could. Silence isn't neutral, it's instructional. Nepotism doesn't disappear because people complain about it. It weakens when decision environments change. Here are 3 actions that do that. First, pre-commit criteria. Before the next promotion or role decision, ask, preferably in writing, before we decide, can we list the 3 or 4 criteria we'll use? Research shows this increases perceived fairness by 25 to 40% and prevents criteria quietly shifting to fit a favored person. You're not accusing anyone. You're raising the cost of favoritism. Second, force side-by-side comparison. Instead of advocating for one person, present 2 or 3 viable options. Behavioral research shows forced comparison reduces bias by up to 30%. Nepotism thrives in single-candidate conversations. Comparison interrupts that pattern. Third, create a decision record. After major people decisions, briefly document the criteria used, the options considered, and the stated reason. Accountability research shows decision rigor improves 20–25% when decisions are explainable later. Nepotism depends on short memory. Decision records extend memory. When these actions are used consistently, research suggests measurable outcomes. Engagement increases by 15 to 30%. People participate when effort feels connected to outcomes. Retention risk drops by 20–35%, especially among high performers who otherwise disengage quietly before leaving. And idea contribution, speaking up with alternatives, increases by 25–50% when clarity replaces favoritism. These aren't soft gains. They're observable shifts in behavior. Nepotism doesn't shout, it whispers. And over time, those whispers teach people what matters and what doesn't. You don't fight nepotism with outrage. You fight it by engineering better decision conditions. That's not idealism, that's applied wisdom. This is Workday Wisdom, practical clarity for modern work, explained with old ideas and new research. In the next episode, we'll look at the meritocracy myth, why hard work isn't enough, and the truth about meritocracy at work. This is Ryan from Workday Wisdom signing off for now. I'll see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful week ahead. Until then, keep your standards visible, keep your effort intentional, and remember, you're allowed to protect your energy when the system isn't fair.